So the Twilight Zone 2019 series episode 2, Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, which is a remake, reimagining, sort of the original 1959 Twilight Zone's episode known as Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Now, to give you a bit of context, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet is about a person that had a mental breakdown on a plane, going on a plane once again, and he sees a gremlin, which, is basically just this sort of creature, basically some guy in a costume. He sees a gremlin, and everyone doesn't see it but him, but then it turns out at the very end that the gremlin did do damage to the plane wing all along, and all of his sort of quote-unquote visions was real. So the gremlin in the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet episode was real. So basically Jordan Peele and the writing team remade this episode and called it Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, but it's not really a shot-for-shot remake or anything. It's basically an original story, just taking the basic framework of guy on a plane, had a mental breakdown, and is paranoid that something is, going on. That's basically the rundown of this episode. So what is Nightmare at 30,000 Feet all about? So Adam Scott's character, he's on board a plane, a flight, and while he's listening to a podcast, the podcast basically says that flight 1115 or 1015, I forget the number, but basically the flight that Adam Scott's character is on is going to disappear. And basically Adam Scott's character is basically trying to figure out how this disappearance occurs so he can obviously stop what is going on, because he doesn't want the plane disappearing, obviously. So he tries to figure out what's going on, and then one thing leads to another, and then, basically the whole twist, spoilers if you don't want to get spoiled, but basically the twist in Nightmare at 30,000 Feet is that Adam Scott's character actually, causes the disappearance, and basically he is on an island, and basically the plane crashes, and he is crash landed on an island with all of the members of the plane all pissed at him because he was making a fuss about, the plane is going to, disappear, the plane is going to disappear, and then they kill him. And then the second part of the podcast comes out about the plane's disappearance, and it says that basically all members of the plane survived except for one, and that is Adam Scott's character. So Adam Scott's character dies, and even though he tried to predict the future, he did predict the future, the podcast did, and he was trying to save everyone and stop the disappearance, he actually caused the disappearance and was killed himself. So that's a whole irony and twist, and overall, this is a solid update to the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet episode. I don't think it is as compelling as the original episode. I did like the twist more, but then again, the twist has been parodied, of the original 20,000 Feet episode, has been parodied and referenced so much in pop culture that everyone knows the twist anyway, so it's easy to say that I like the Twilight Zone 2019 Nightmare at 30,000 Feet ending better, but yeah. Anyway, I liked Adam Scott's character. He was likable. I really felt for him when he was trying to sort of explain to someone that, the plane is going to disappear, and when he was trying to figure stuff out, I really felt for him because everyone was just like, giving him a hard time, rightfully so. He's going through people's bags and whatnot, and, throughout the episode. So, people are going to be suspicious of Adam Scott's character, but still you feel for him because he's trying to stop the plane's disappearance, and because he, the podcast predicted the future, which is kind of weird. It's kind of like a time loop thing. And then the irony of it is that he caused the plane to disappear, because of another character, which I won't mention. But basically, he pilots the plane to crash land on an island, and blah, blah, blah. But, and the character that crash lands a plane, he's the only one that believes him, quote unquote. But anyway, so Adam Scott's character goes through all of his trials and tribulations just to get killed off at the end. That's basically the whole twist. So, yeah, I liked the episode. I thought it was a nice update. Again, it wasn't as compelling as the original Twilight Zone episode, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. I think that's just because, the whole story is just timeless, and it's kind of hard to sort of, basically compare to that episode because it's timeless, everyone knows about it, and it's been referenced time and time again. But this was a pretty good update. I liked the inclusion of just, podcasts and the modern technology in general. I did like that. And, you really felt for Adam Scott because, well, Adam Scott's character at least, because, he was trying to do good. He wasn't trying to, cause any wrongdoing, but in the process he did, and he caused, the crash. And I kind of liked the whole predicting the future approach, and I really felt that was, sort of a time crunch. Like, Adam Scott's character really needed to buckle down and figure out what's going on and what's causing the plane to disappear. But I felt like, he should have, just fast forwarded the podcast. I don't know, that just was, an oversight maybe, like if I was his character, I would just skip to the end of the podcast to see what's actually going on. But that's just me. I mean, I know the story has to sort of flow, so he has to sort of, not skip around, to the end, but whatever. That's just an oversight that I saw. And kind of my main issue with the episode is why didn't he skip to the end of the podcast? If, he wanted to figure out the plane's disappearance. Instead, he was, like, looking all around and looking for, like, potential passengers that may have something to do with the disappearance. But the irony is, he was the person who basically essentially made the plane disappear, and died for it. He paid the price, even though he was trying to do good. And that's what I really liked in the episode, just the whole irony of it. And, it's kind of like the irony found in Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, the character in Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, William Shatner, he, thinks there's something going on with the gremlin and, destroying the plane wing. Nobody believes him. And then it turns out at the very closing shot that, the gremlin actually, was real, and he, took off the, some of the plane's wing. But anyway, Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, nice update. I like sort of the idea of, episode 1 was the comedian, and that was a completely original story, and episode 2 was kind of sort of a reimagining, reboot of the, one of the classic Twilight Zone episodes, and one of the more infamous. I kind of like that approach. I hope to see more, remakes, reimaginings, because this really wasn't a shot-for-shot remake. It's not like a Psycho in 1998 where it's just a shot-for-shot remake. No, it's an actual original story, just using the basic framework of what was used in the past. And, I really like that approach. I didn't really know what to expect with Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. I wasn't expecting a shot-for-shot remake, but I wasn't expecting such an original story. And I liked the time crunch. I liked Adam Scott's acting. He's very believable in this role. He's kind of like stressed, trying to find out, how the plane is going to disappear, but he's also trying to keep cool and keep calm and collected and, basically not bringing much attention to himself. And you really feel for the guy because of the, actor's acting, I think it was, well done. And the ending, while it wasn't too shocking, it was pretty good to see, even though it was kind of sad, it was kind of ironic, with Adam Scott's character and how he sort of ended up at the end. It was kind of, bittersweet, I guess. But how does this compare to, the original Twilight Zone's Nightmare at 20,000 Feet? I mean, it doesn't, to be honest, because that episode is so timeless and it's so classic and ingrained into pop culture. It doesn't compare on sort of a social and sort of pop culture level, but in terms of quality and, you know, the storytelling, I did like Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. It's just, I think, you know, it's just Nightmare at 20,000 Feet is just too timeless, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to compare. But I did like how this updated, remade story was like 35 minutes. It was, you know, much easier to sit down and actually watch compared to the first Twilight Zone 2019 episode, The Comedian, which was an hour long. I did like the pacing of this episode a bit better. It did just run more smoothly, to be honest. And yeah, what did you guys think of Nightmare at 30,000 feet, and how does it stack up to the original Nightmare at 20,000 feet? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.